return from the Cardiff Summit, but on the same regard, it is the same week where the Ministry of Works and Transport took over the rights and duties of the SGS company in regards to vehicle inspection following the termination of their contract in 2020. And this very week, police managed to neutralize 6 robbers who were aiming at robbing a banker or a client of a bank in Kamocha early this week. Now, it's in this very week, by the way, that the National Unity Platform happened to announce a new vice president for the central region in Butambala County, Member of Parliament Mwanga Chivumbi, replacing a friend of his who is also the former leader of opposition in Matthias Mpuga, who is now currently the leader of a political pressure group, the Democratic Alliance. And if you are to look into that week, it is not only that in regards to what has been exciting. The CDF of Uganda returned to X, making huge headlines on the BBC following just a week after he had just made a statement that he had officially left the platform. He didn't leave it for long though, because yesterday he made tweets that revealed that he was back again. And his faithfuls were excited to see him back on the streets of X. And then, for those who do follow his updates, were further observing the developments coming in from the same. But the week has also been filled up with lots of news and lots of information, of which we will be diving into that to keep you up to speed with whatever has been happening within the country and out of it. I am Joram Paul Sonko, myself, Robert Chirawunyonyi, Uncle Bob, and Olive Monica Najuma plus Ruben Pima Chibirango will be leading the proceedings this very morning to ensure that we usher you into the second weekend of the many that we are likely to be having in this year of 2025. Welcome on board. This is Good Morning Uganda Friday edition, and we are happy to have you. Let me check on the team to see what they have in regards to the stories that stood out for them this entire week, and then also how ready they are for the second weekend of 2025. I'll start with Olive Monica Najuma, who I am with in Studio A here, to see how she's doing and how ready she is for the second Friday of 2025. Good morning, Olive.
Well, good morning, Jerome. How are you?
I am well. I am really doing okay. I don't know how you are.
I like the sound of that. I am okay, but you see, as a parent, when you mention that this is the second weekend of January 2025, it's bringing me closer to weekends where we will start saying, Banange, school fees week, you know, you see, you should understand. Yeah, but that aside, I am okay, and it's been a beautiful week, and hopefully we will continue to have more and more beautiful weeks. Now, Joram, when I speak about going forward, this year is going to be a year, I don't know if you're braced for it, especially for us in the media, but our friends in the political arena are really gathering steam when it comes to this year. I've seen mini rallies or low-key rallies already taking place. Everyone is taking center stage. We are already starting to see flyers of impending candidates for different positions in different constituencies. So it's going to be a year full of too much. And I feel like we've just gotten started. If it's a band of something, we have just pinched it. We're about to get into it, and I know that there is going to be so much drama. Now, when it comes to the presidency, the NRM party has not yet told us who their flag bearer is, because the incumbent has not said anything regarding the same, but we are waiting with bated breath to see who is the NRM party bringing to contest for presidency. Of course, I'm sure National Unity Platform already have their Bobby Wine. I think most likely he is going to contest for the presidency again. But then the reason I'm talking about the presidency this morning, we normally get surprised by a certain candidate. We've had Katumba, Katumba Oye, then we've had others that have come out of the woodwork that we didn't expect, and then they came onto the playground, and of course we had an interesting one. Of course, there are some that have appeared many years, and I don't think we'll see them again this year, rather next year, but of course this year, and that is Norbert Mao. I don't think we'll see him on the ticket anymore. I mean, he's now the Minister of Justice, so I don't know how that can play out. But yeah, very interesting times we live in.
It doesn't seem like they're going to give us a candidate either. So.
It doesn't look like so. So there is too much going on the political front, but outside of the country, Jeremy, it's important to note that after we have on the sidelines watched the war in Gaza, we might be coming to an end of it. There is a ceasefire deal that is on the table, though it is reported that Israel is delaying to sign it. But if it is signed, the Palestinian side says it is at least on paper, it looks like it will honor most of their demands on the side of Gaza.
And well, of course, the developments from Gaza and the Middle East will be very fundamental in world peace, because many of the different countries have been taking sides over the past months in regards to the side of Palestine and, of course, Israel. Now, I need to check on Uncle Bob in Studio B, the lone walker, every other morning here. We need to know how he's doing and also what really stood out for him this entire week. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning to you, Jerome Paul Sonko. How are you doing?
I am okay. How are you?
Are you ready for the weekend?
Yes, I am.
Okay. You sound very ready, and of course that comes with something in the pocket as well. Now, my week has been fine, I must say. One of the stories that stood out for me is when we saw police arrest 9 Chinese. Now, these were extending their contract in terms of what acreage of land was given to them, and they were destroying River Katonga seriously. Now you're given about 1 acre, and by the time the environment police comes, you've gone to 10 acres. You're filling the river with a lot of sand and all that. So I was very excited, because if we see foreigners touched, what we call investors, investors arrested for destroying our environment. People who came in this country got a license, brought machinery, then I think it speaks volumes to the Ugandans themselves, that if the people we cherish so much here, when they come, an investor is an investor. If we can have them, and this is, I think, this is the second time that I've seen Chinese investors arrested for messing up our environment. So I like that so much, more so when we're in the post-CADAP, where environment and climate change was so pronounced. As Africa, we need to protect this if you have to have food systems that are resilient. But also, on the political realm, Uganda Federal Alliance, now this was a political party that many knew as the political party of Honorable Betty Kamya, the current IGG. Now, what happened? For a long time, since she moved to NRM, for a very long time, this party seemed to be like in non-existence. Now, yesterday, they got a new leader by the name of Robert Luja. And very interesting, he said he's blessed to take over such a political party. And like Olive said, they are coming 2026 with a presidential candidate. They have systems, and he welcomed all Ugandans to join the party, including those who want to contest for the Kawempe North, a seat which fell vacant after the death of Honorable Muhammad Segirinya. Now, when this new president made this, I was like, but for sure, if someone is going to join a party, then get a ticket there and then. I think there's something we're not learning when it comes to how we do our political recruitments in this country. But to me, those are the two that stood out for me.
All right. And of course, this entire week clearly shows you that we're going to be having a very long year, 2025, when you look at the developments that come into the country every other day, not only from the political side, even in the social affairs of this country, and then on the side of entertainment, and also, by the way, from the sports side of things, because this very week, we got to realize that the CAF decided to postpone the CHAN tournament that was meant for February to August 2025, citing unpreparedness from the 3 countries that are supposed to host the same tournament. And after that, 2 years away from now, in 2027, the Pamoja AFCON will also be held within the 3 East African countries of Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. I hope then we shall be ready, and I'm hoping so much that we shall be ready then. But for now, we do have some news gathered for you from the local scene and the international scene, including the press review. But we start off with what the local has got.
And we begin with President Yoweri Museveni, who concluded his 3-day working visit to the United Arab Emirates, UAE, for a significant meetings with His Highness Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed, the Supreme Council member of the United Arab Emirates and ruler of Sharjah. The president was warmly received at the Royal Palace and accompanied by the chairman of the Sharjah Chamber of Commerce and Industry, His Excellency Abdallah Al Owas, and the president of the Amiri Diwan, His Excellency Rashid Al Sheikh. During the meeting, the two leaders discussed matters of mutual interest between Uganda and Sharjah, with a particular focus on fostering economic cooperation. Moving on, the Ministry of Defense and Internal Affairs budget has been reduced by 32 billion shillings as outlined in the 2024-2025 budget framework paper. Appearing before the Defense Committee of Parliament, the Minister for Internal Affairs, Major General Kahinda Utafire, warned that this shortfall will significantly impact key service deliveries and priorities. The Ministry of Finance presented the budget framework paper to Parliament on December 19, 2024, which was subsequently reviewed by sectoral committees, including the Defense Committee. The committee identified critical issues such as unpaid salaries for newly recruited police officers and disparities in salary enhancement for police officers, a major concern raised by the readiness of Uganda Police Force for the 2026 general elections. Under Secretary Agri Winyi reported that 362 billion shillings are required to manage the elections, funds that are currently unavailable. Plans including recruiting 2,500 police constables, 10,000 district police commanders, and 460 polling constables. Despite the debate that ensued among the members about the deployment responsibilities involving the Electoral Commission and the police, as well as the remuneration of police polling constables. The First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has partnered with DEVRA's Impact Project Africa and the Africa World Training Center to launch a cyber security training initiative for Uganda youth. During the meeting at State House Nakasero, the First Lady said there is all opportunities for women and the youth in this country to benefit from this. Recognizing Uganda's youth-dominated population of 13.3 who are unemployed, which is an unemployment rate, the program aims at creating high-value jobs and attract global partnership. A memorandum of understanding was formalized, which enables Uganda to serve as the cyber security outsourcing hub for international companies. Mrs. Museveni praised the organization's dedication to empowering Ugandan youth. The chairman of the Democratic Alliance, Honorable Matthias Mpuuga, along with his leadership team, paid a courtesy visit to the Electoral Commission headquarters in Kampala to discuss several key issues as the country prepares for the 2026 general elections. The leader of the Democratic Alliance, Matthias Mpuuga, met with members of JMA party to discuss their joint efforts towards the 2026 election coalition. The Democratic Alliance team met with the Electoral Commission to continue with these discussions, focusing on ensuring smooth and fair electoral process. Some of the key issues raised by the Democratic Alliance included a call for Electoral Commission to allow prisoners and Ugandans living abroad to participate in the 2026 general elections. The team also advocated for the division of overpopulated constituencies to ensure citizens receive better services. Additionally, the visiting team requested an independent analysis of the voters' registration process and urged security agencies not to apply excessive force in dealing with the opposition. The Electoral Commission spokesperson Julius Muchunguzi assured the Democratic Alliance of the Commission's commitment to fair service delivery, regardless of political affiliation, and pledged to address the concerns raised. Earlier, the National Unity Platform, NUP, made leadership changes, replacing Honorable Mathias Mpuga with Muwanga Chivumbi as Deputy Party President for Buganda. Entebbe Municipality Legislator Mike Kakembo Mbwatekamwa emphasized their advocacy for change in electoral positions, asserting that these changes are in the best of interest of Ugandans. Electoral Commission spokesperson Julius Muchunguzi welcomed the input from all political parties, promising better service delivery in line with their commitment to fairness.
Well, that does it for the local scene. Now we check into what is happening across the borders of the country.
Well, across the borders, Israel delays vote to approve Gaza ceasefire deal. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has delayed a cabinet vote to approve the Gaza ceasefire deal due on Thursday, accusing Hamas of seeking last-minute changes to the agreement. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said a loose end was being tied up and that he was confident the ceasefire would still begin on Sunday as planned. Although Israeli negotiators agreed to the deal after months of talks, it cannot be implemented until it is approved by the Security Cabinet and government. Hamas said it was committed to the deal, but the BBC understands it was trying to add some of its members to the list of Palestinian prisoners that would be released under the deal. The delay came after Israeli strikes in Gaza following Wednesday's announcement of a deal killed more than 80 people, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. A few hours before this Thursday morning meeting was due, Netanyahu accused Hamas of trying to extort last-minute concessions. The cabinet would not convene until Hamas accepted all elements of the agreement, a statement from his office read. Now moving on to the United States President-elect Donald Trump's incoming national security advisor has said the new administration will keep TikTok alive in the U.S. if there is a viable deal. We will put measures in place to keep TikTok from going dark, U.S. Representative Mike Waltz told Fox News on Thursday. He noted that the law gives authority for a 90-day extension for the app's Chinese owner ByteDance to complete a divestiture. This is the case, said Waltz, as long as a viable deal is on the table. Essentially, that buys President Trump time to keep TikTok going. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said on the Senate floor on Thursday that TikTok, which is owned by China's ByteDance, should be given more time to find a buyer. It's clear that more time is needed to find an American buyer and not disrupt the lives and livelihoods of millions of Americans, Schumer said, adding that Senate Democrats tried to pass a bill to extend the deadline to come up with a solution. I will work with the Trump administration and with both parties to keep TikTok alive while protecting our national security. And lastly, here in East Africa, Tanzania has dismissed a World Health Organization report of a suspected new outbreak of the Ebola-like Marburg virus in the northwest of the country. On Tuesday, cases were reported over the last 5 days in the Kagera region, including 8 deaths. But in a statement, Tanzania's Health Minister Jenista Mgahagama said after samples were analyzed, all suspected cases were found negative for Marburg virus. She said that the country had strengthened its surveillance systems and disease monitoring. We would like to assure the international organizations, including WHO, that we shall always keep them up to date with ongoing developments, Mgahama said. Tanzania experienced its first Marburg outbreak in March 2023 in the Bukoba district. It killed 6 people and lasted for nearly 2 months. The highly infectious disease is similar to Ebola, with symptoms including fever, muscle pains, diarrhea, vomiting, and in some cases, death through extreme blood loss. On Tuesday, WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus warned of further cases in the coming days as disease surveillance improves in the latest suspected outbreak in Tanzania.
And well, back in Uganda, you get to realize that the election fever has continued to take shape because according to the New Vision, they write 5 EC bosses have been suspended. Now, the Electoral Commission has suspended 5 of those, and this particular one is damning doza to president, implicates officials in gross mismanagement. According to what is coming in from the New Vision, at the front page, the officials include Leonard Molekwa, Abdul Chibesi, Frederick Tibakanu. There is also George Cheyune and Umar Chiyimba. Then at the front page also, 896 million shillings PDM funds stolen, says the Attorney General's report. And then in the Beat magazine, when the world of Rotary came to Uganda, find out a recap of whatever happened during her visit. Then Uganda and UAE signed memorandums of understanding. The president at the front page is being received at the Royal Palace in Sharjah by His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed Al Qasim, and there is also the Supreme Council member of the UAE and ruler of Sharjah. You can find details in the New Vision. Now, faces behind City Bank robbery, find the details in today's New Vision as Chivumbi replaces Mpuga in the National Unit platform. Now, still from the local press, are you eating your way to the grave? The Daily Monitor writes, in your mouth, the thoughtful choices between tasty and finger-licking foods and the safer alternatives and balancing increased physical activities against inactive lifestyle can make a whole difference in the quality of your life. Now, the Daily Monitor gives you a highlight of the foods to avoid or moderate: the processed foods, or red meat, that is canned meat and sausages. They also talk about the fried foods, fish, chicken, potatoes. Then fats, the fatty foods like fatty meat and pork. Then sugars, sugary drinks, ice cream, soda, candies, and dessert. All are supposed to be avoided or taken moderately. Then there is also alcohol. Quit drinking alcohol if possible. Bread consumption, especially white bread. Then refined flour, super refined flour, because of high levels of the calories that it has. Now, in the Scoop magazine, it's deep chocolate brown is the new black, according to the fashion world. You can find details there as well in the Daily Monitor. And then also, Bobi Wine picks Mwanga Chivumbi to replace Mpuga. The NUP leader has chosen Mr. Chivumbi to replace Mathias Mpuga as the party's deputy president in charge of the Buganda region. Now, Mpox, how sex workers are fighting back in the face of the threats. Find details in the Daily Monitor. Now, cost of digital plates to handicap passengers, according to new developments. Then assessing Senyonyi's first year as leader of opposition. The Daily Monitor gives you an assessment of that. Now, away from the Daily Monitor, we look at the Uganda Gazette as of January 17th, 2025. The contents within this week's edition is the Commissioner for Oath Advocates Act. There are notices for that. And then the Mining and Minerals Act. Then there is also the Education, Pre-Primary, Primary and Post-Primary Act notice. The Marriage Act notices, the Advocates Act notices, the Companies Act notices, the Insolvency Act notices, the Copyright and Neighboring Rights Regulation notices, the Non-Governmental Organizations Act notice, the National Payment Systems Act notice, the Uganda Federation of Movie Industry notice, the Local Government Rating Act notice, the Biofuels Act notice, the Police Control of Private Security Organizations Regulations notice, the Electricity Act notice, and then the Trademarks Act Regulation of Applications. And then also you will definitely get to find more developments coming in from the Commissioner for Oath Advocates Act Commission, and looking at it, that it may it be known that on 5th December 2024, Aketeisha Aklin, an advocate of the High Court, was appointed to be a commissioner for oath under the above-mentioned act for as long as she continues to practice as such advocate and the commission is not revoked. And of course, the Chief Justice has endorsed this particular one, Alfonso Chigamoy Owinyidolo. And then there is also another development coming in showing Namutebi Alzik Mutebi, an advocate of the High Court, has been appointed to be a commissioner for oath under the above mentioned act for so long as she continues to practice as such and the commission is not revoked. This particular one has the Chief Registrar endorsing her appointment, that is Sarah Langa CU. Now, away from Uganda, we turn our focus onto what is making headlines into the Daily Nation. The Daily Nation highlights the judiciary is under siege. Justice LSK, President, has condemned the unfettered bribery and unethical conduct by judicial officers. At the front page, you can see the Supreme Court judges at the front page of the Daily Nation. Then Bungei moved in police shake-up, according to new developments in Kenya. Now in health, woman's journey of pain and resilience. Then Muturi continues to bear it all. The public service cabinet secretary says he became a victim of political lynch following President's heckling in Embu. Now, Alama's hundreds fail to report to varsities over funding crisis. More developments coming in from Kenya. Now, lastly, from our press review, we head to Tanzania. How internet boom is changing Tanzania's digital landscape. The citizen writes, the surging demand for a multitude of digital services across diverse sectors such as education, business, and healthcare has significantly heightened internet usage, transforming how people connect and learn. Now, AST leader to challenge Samia for presidency in 2025 election. It does look like it will be a two-women race in Tanzania. Now, Zanzibar says tourism on the rise despite health insurance charge. And there's a figure there that is showing 91,611, a record number of tourists who visited Zanzibar in just December. Now, interesting there, coming in from Zanzibar and Tanzania as a general. Now, besides that, when we do return after the break, dear viewer, we shall be having an interesting performer by the name Sparrow. But first, we shall be having an inclusive newsreel that we will be inviting you, our dear viewer, to be part of, including sharing your opinions via phone call and also sharing the same on X using the hashtag UBCGMU, and also on WhatsApp in the same capacity. Now, next week, Ragadi, one of the toppest artists in the country, will be holding a 37 years concert, and he will be taking us through his journey. But speaking of Ragadi, I'm taking you back down memory lane with the Afrigo Band this morning in our inspirational song termed Sikulimba. Good morning.
Hey, Kona dance.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Barabie, baraba.
Well, what a week we've been having this very particular one. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. This particular week saw us return from the Cardiff Summit, but on the same regard, it is the same week where the Ministry of Works and Transport took over the rights and duties of the SGS company in regards to vehicle inspection following the termination of their contract in 2020. And this very week, police managed to neutralize 6 robbers who were aiming at robbing a banker or a client of a bank in Kamocha early this week. Now, it's in this very week, by the way, that the National Unity Platform happened to announce a new vice president for the central region in Butambala County, Member of Parliament Mwanga Chivumbi, replacing a friend of his who is also the former leader of opposition in Matthias Mpuga, who is now currently the leader of a political pressure group, the Democratic Alliance. And if you are to look into that week, it is not only that in regards to what has been exciting. The CDF of Uganda returned to X, making huge headlines on the BBC following just a week after he had just made a statement that he had officially left the platform. He didn't leave it for long though, because yesterday he made tweets that revealed that he was back again, and his faithfuls were excited to see him back on the streets of X. And then for those who do follow his updates, were further observing the developments coming in from the same. But the week has also been filled up with lots of news and lots of information, of which we will be diving into that to keep you up to speed with whatever has been happening within the country and out of it. I am Joram Paul Sonko, myself, Robert Chirabunyonyi, Uncle Bob, and Olive Monica Najuma plus Ruben Pima Chibirango will be leading the proceedings this very morning to ensure that we usher you into the second weekend of the many that we are likely to be having in this year of 2025. Welcome on board. This is Good Morning Uganda Friday edition, and we are happy to have you. Let me check on the team to see what they have in regards to the stories that stood out for them this entire week, and then also how ready they are for the second weekend of 2025. I'll start with Olive Monica Najuma, who I am with in Studio A here, to see how she's doing and how ready she is for the second Friday of 2025. Good morning, Olive.
Well, good morning, Jerome. How are you?
I am well. I am really doing okay. I don't know how you are.
I like the sound of that. I am okay. But you see, as a parent, when you mention that this is the second weekend of January 2025, it's bringing me closer to weekends where we will start saying, Banange, school fees week, you know, you see, you should understand. Yeah, but that aside, I am okay, and it's been a beautiful week, and hopefully we will continue to have more and more beautiful weeks. Now, Joram, when I speak about going forward, this year is going to be a year, I don't know if you're braced for it, especially for us in the media, but our friends in the political arena are really gathering steam when it comes to this year. I've seen mini rallies or low-key rallies already taking place. Everyone is taking center stage. We are already starting to see flyers of impending candidates for different positions in different constituencies. So it's going to be a year full of too much. And I feel like we've just gotten started. If it's a band of something, we have just pinched it. We're about to get into it, and I know that there is going to be so much drama. Now, when it comes to the presidency, the NRM party has not yet told us who their flag bearer is, because the incumbent has not said anything regarding the same, but we are waiting with bated breath to see who is the NRM party bringing to contest for presidency. Of course, I'm sure National Unity Platform already have their Bobby Wine. I think most likely he is going to contest for the presidency again. But then the reason I'm talking about the presidency this morning,
it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo,
You can
Now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, good morning and good to have your company this very morning, and welcome to Good Morning Uganda Friday edition. The newsreel is now up and running, and we are going to be having a conversation which we will be inviting you, our dear viewer, to be part of and sharing with us your views and opinions on what we are going to be discussing this very morning. The number you can call or WhatsApp us on is 0709 602 592 and share with us your opinion in regards to the brotherhood paradox, because there is a high belief that men are struggling with meaningful friendships, and many of these have actually been showcased, especially during the time of their retirement, where at times men tend to spend their evening years alone, not even with their grandchildren most of the time. So we want to uncover and see what is leading to this particular development, because it does look like in a country like ours, where bonds and let's say mutual friendships, gatherings of that sort have always been known here in the country. If you ever come to Uganda, one of the things you will have to notice, by the way, is the fact that the people in Uganda are very friendly, so they say. And for the tourists who have been able to interact with the many Ugandans and how hospitable Ugandans have been over the years, may highly be doubtful of what we're going to have as a conversation. So we are opening this up for you, our dear viewer. Why, in your context, do you think, or why in your thoughts do you think men struggle with meaningful friendships? And if at all you feel they don't struggle with them, you can also share with us and your thoughts on the same conversation we are going to be having. And this conversation has myself and Robert Cherabanyonyi Tono together with Olive Monica Najuma as we dive into this rather exciting but worth a cautious conversation. Robert, I want to start with you in this capacity. What do you consider when starting a friendship with a fellow man?
First, what do I benefit in that relationship? Because now we are talking about blood connections.
Yes.
If Sonko is my friend and I take him as a real friend, what do I benefit from that relationship? That's what I first consider. Then, also, I look at what does he benefit in this relationship? Because sometimes, unlike women, who may think so much of the friends they make and critically analyze, most of the times, men make friends. Would I use the word accidental? That because of gatherings, because of workplaces, and you find that many men don't have that closeness of a friendship like the other gender. Because you may find a woman has a friend, one or two, and she's very sure that this can be there for me. And the bond they have, even before aging or what, you see their party. Someone talks about a friend's son's birthday. I don't know if Sonko you've noticed. And it holds a lot of water to them, you know. Someone loses a mother, and it holds a lot of water to them, their friendship. Someone is going through a very tough time. And usually ladies, there is that friend that they'll, even when they lose someone or their husband, you see there's that closeness. Their bond goes very, very deep. They are very intentional, I think. because I'm not one, but I want to be very, very intentional when making friends compared to the male counterpart. For us, you can find someone and they have friends you see them go out with daily, once, but that closeness that goes deeper, so that when hard times strike, when they age, men don't invest, I want to say, so much in choosing friends for purpose, but they go with the tides. That if maybe you're working together in a twinkle of an eye, the friends, our friendship as men doesn't dig deeper. Yet the opposite gender, for them, it digs deeper. It will go away from what brought you together. So you may find that maybe workplace, it's because I work with you and we are friends then, because most of the times maybe I'm with you, we even discuss a few things and that. But ladies, for them, it will not only end at work and simple. She may identify the next time. Are you aware men can be friends for 10 years, assuming they are friends, and one doesn't know where the other stays? For women, it is very rare. One doesn't know even the names of the child of the other. But you'll find for women, she knows where she stays, the names of the children, their birthday dates. She knows. We are so reserved. So because we are reserved as men, you only let out a few. Sometimes we don't go to that deeper understanding that will create that sustainable bond that even when they age. For example, Joram Paul Sonko and Olive and our viewer, you can find a lady after university, maybe she was working at an organization, but 10 years after she left that organization, she has 2 or 3 friends she carried life with. Now go to the men. If we're assuming I'm your friend here at UBC, if I leave UBC, in 10 years we meet, you may find that in the entire organization, entire club, there is not that person you've taken on for so long. So, yet, because you've not invested in that, at the end of the day, when maybe someone must stand out for you, all you've had are workmates, assuming they are your friends, people you go with for evening lessons, that daily drinking, maybe people if you're doing evening lessons, maybe you're doing a master's, that group seemingly seems to be...
What is a master's?
Or a degree or something. Yeah. Not the evening, not
no, he said evening lessons.
You know, there are evening lessons where matters of national importance are discussed.
Okay.
And appreciating God's creation. Now, there are these formal evening lessons where people go to upgrade and do that. So, you find that what you thought were friends of your father or what this man thought were friends, actually, like I said, we are not intentional in making friends. They were just people who are just merely socializing with you, but you didn't have a friend.
For the purpose of class.
Yes, for the purpose of class, you didn't have a friend. But for the ladies, you will find that she has had people in her life that will be with her through good and tough times. It's very rare to find us investing and being intentional when making friends and building friendship.
Okay. And there is always a meme making rounds on social media that says when men meet in an area and none of them gets to know each other's names, they will call themselves boss, manager, engineer, doctor,
Chief.
chairman, chief. And that name can actually be on you for about 2 years. And I'm speaking this from my experience because there are people you find and you don't even ask their names. You're only calling them by chief, chairman, champion, wakabi. These are the names men normally
Now there's one they have added on the list. Commissioner.
Commissioner, commander,
commissioner.
all
Who are
of
you,
these,
commissioner?
you know,
Like,
all of these,
I'm really a
Chivanda.
commissioner.
These are the names most of the men use. I wonder from the side of Olive, though. Let us first take it from the female perspective. What do you consider in your female friendships? Because we've seen women, of course, in friendships, there are always breakups in friendships. But then females normally keep their friends even till marriage, and they still have them as their you know, they can be besties and what have you. What normally comes in the space of keeping these friendships?
Well, when it comes to women, and of course the grass is not that green at the other side, but of course compared to men, women do better in friendships. I think the most poignant thing here is that as women, we are naturally emotional beings. That is our biology. That's how we are made. And because of that, it's very easy for us to be emotional, to be vulnerable. And what keeps female friendships is that vulnerability. We open up and we talk about things. Most times, when a woman is going through a thing, all it might take is a phone call to a close person. Doesn't have to be a best friend, and they will, after that, they will feel better. They will have gained better perspective through that phone conversation. But then when it reaches men, I think the biggest deterrent to friendships among men, meaningful friendships among men, is the fact that societal expectations call for them not to be vulnerable. Men are expected to put on a facade of being strong. I'll give you an example. Robert here is a married man. But if Robert is having marital issues at home, do you know that half the time Robert may not have someone to talk to about things he's going through? Let's say he's the one being abused in that marriage. Why? Because what do you mean? What do you mean you're a man and a woman is abusing you? You're supposed to take charge, you get. And because of that, that's why more men will die silently. That's why more men will actually have issues of mental illness. They have suicidal thoughts, and many will even go ahead to carry through when it comes to the suicidal thoughts. Many of them will end up committing suicide, and then everyone around them will say, he was a happy guy. We thought everything was okay. Another example, there is a gentleman last year who committed suicide, a marketer. I forget his name. And people said, career-wise, he was a successful man. In the marketing space, he was, breaking through the ceilings, making things move, and everyone admired him and respected him. In the home side, he was coming from a really good family. So money was not a problem. He was a high achiever. He had everything. And physically, he looked like, he has the money. He was a bit chubby. And he looked nice and he was jovial. But this man ended up committing suicide, okay? And one would wonder, why would such a person that has everything we call success committing suicide? But you could find that this man had issues he was dealing with. For instance, he was not married, had no children. I'm not saying that's why he died, but you could find that these were contributing factors, that he was lonely, but he could not bring himself to talk to someone about these things. Now, when it comes to us women, we open up. There is always someone to talk to. Robert here gave an example of friendships in the workplace. And I'm normally the person who says, many people say, go to work, do your job, get paid, go home. But then my closest friends are people I met in places of work. When I worked in the bank, I left that place with about 4 friends who are still my friends today, my very, very good friends. And every other workplace I've worked, I've made a friend or 2 there. But then for men, yes, someone will say, I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. Like the father of my children worked somewhere, and in most cases will say, hey, that guy, I worked with him. That guy, we were in school together, but they are not friends, they are acquaintances. So probably society has not put much emphasis on the friendships of men. And Joram, when you look at the numbers, a 2021 study from the Institute of Family Studies indicated that only 1 in 5 men receive social support from male friends when in need, compared to 2 in 5 women. But also, just 30% of men are likely to share personal feelings with other people versus 48% of women. And that should tell you something. Now, when it comes to mental health, the U.S. National Institute of Mental Health indicated that in 2020, while about 5 in 100,000 women committed suicide due to loneliness, the number was 5 times more among men.
Interesting. Interesting. Robert, I want to bring you in here. There's a report here that says that The most intriguing bit is the struggle for depth in the friendships of men or the bonds they build. In Uganda, for instance, despite the considerable time men spend together, you've highlighted a little bit of that. You look at men spending time talking matters, politics, football, sports in general. They will talk about women, they will talk about so many things. The term
is appreciating God's creation.
Okay, appreciating God's creation, but they never talk about the most important thing, their mental health, how they are coping up with life struggles. They never, it is very difficult to find men sharing how they're dealing with this. And this is where the biggest problem arises from. So they end up dying in silence with their personal battles, only to keep them up in the daily conversations with their men. How do we even solve this? Why is it difficult for men? Because, again, it is something I'm also facing. It is something that I also find very difficult to come and sit down with a fellow man or a friend of mine and we start talking about my personal struggles. I would rather battle them myself.
And that's where the problem begins.
First, I want to say it is how society has defined us. I'm going to give you a very simple example. When I was growing up, I had 2 cousins that were staying home. They're more or less my big sisters. Now, if we were playing, remember one time a dog came into the compound and running, we all fell down. But my mother, and much as my aunties were helping my cousins to ensure they are okay, I'm sorry, you know, for me, people are telling me, omusajja takaba. You get it? Tokaba nga atali musajja. Oli musajja. You get that? So, first and foremost, we grow, we are groomed, society has defined us that is what we are. You're a man. How does a man begin narrating what he's going through? Actually, if we are at a drinking spot, or if we are in anything, and then someone tries to open up, because that's what society, that's how we've grown. We may even look at each other and say, is Kent normal, you know? Does a man speak this? And you may find even a fellow man walking away. Say, man, in these conversations, we are not women here. So there's that society issue. Second, for some reason, Olive talked about women. I've seen a woman when her friend's marriage is unstable. And it's an issue, it can be on her for a whole day. You ask, but what is the problem? Hey man,
so cheated on my friend.
Cheated on my friend.
Yes.
You know, she's bothered as if it's her problem. You know, so-and-so's husband comes back late, then the guy comes, then come and tell a man, my wife comes late or my wife cheated. Then look at you, man, be a man. Eh? Step up. And you will not see that person even ever thinking of the fact that you had a problem. So, uncle, you're saying your wife, we talked about, we don't go in depth, we discussed about it. If we had 4 beers, 2 on the table, by the time we get to the 3rd beer, that is now finished. Whereas the olives will go dissect. Don't you think that is the problem? Consult so and so. So society has defined us that for us, we keep it, we solve our issues. And also the other is even responsibilities. Responsibilities that men have. I'm not saying women don't have responsibilities, because we don't even have women that double. They're into flesh. They are the husbands and they are the wives of their homes. But by and large, the man, the responsibilities and societal pressures make it very hard for us.
Okay, I want to hear from Olive, who is representing the females in this perspective. Olive, I wonder though, there is also a very huge conversation that Ugandan men cannot hold conversations And it is something that comes in from many of the women who get to interact with them in the element of, courtship and, on the dates they go into. They've come to realize the majority, it's not even Ugandan men, the majority of them cannot hold meaningful. The word is meaningful conversations. And when you look into this report, they will also tell you that Ugandan men find it challenging to move beyond casual interactions, even amongst themselves. Where's the problem at? Is it the parenting issue? Were these issues right from childhood that a boy could not express himself ably to the point that he decides to be an introvert, even during a time of his personal struggles?
Well, it's not only Ugandan men. I think it's men, all men across the board find struggles when it comes to being, like I said earlier, vulnerable and opening up. And yes, it goes back to upbringing, where the girl child is given an opportunity to throw tantrums, to be herself, to complain. A boy cannot do that, because when you do that, even your mother, by the way, is like, what are you doing? Why are you behaving like a girl? And that usually asks me, I'm like, what do you mean a girl? Do you mean that being in touch with your emotions makes you a weak person? Unfortunately, society was made in a way that men are supposed to bottle up everything. There is the fear of judgment that if I say what my mind says on this issue, I'm going to be judged. And because of that, the man will bottle up everything. That's why you'll meet your friends and you will not discuss extensively regarding things that are troubling you. Let's say maybe issues at home. I mean, my friends and I, we normally joke about how men talk. A guy comes and says, Sonko, things are tough at home. And Sonko is like, what's up? And they're like, man, I think my wife is cheating. And the other one is like, buddy, that's too bad. To knew him. The conversation is done. And because of that, this man will go. Maybe at home he's going through, through financial hardships, and it's bringing some strain to his marriage, his relationships. Maybe he's not even married, but he is financially struggling. But then at home, what do you mean you're a man and you've come to the family gathering and you cannot contribute? I mean, you're the man, you're the son. And because of that, it's extremely hard to open up. So the fear to be judged makes men bottle up many things. Whereas I, Olive, I will call my sister. I will cry about it. I'll talk about it. I'll call my friend. I'll cry about it. I'll talk about it. And I will feel much better. My sister may not even give me a solution, or my friend. But at the end of the day, that opening up will give me perspective. And I might have solutions by myself, but because I give myself the opportunity to open up and talk about these things and be in the moment, feel my feelings. Okay. Now, when men meet together as friends, I've seen a few guys that are intentional. And honestly speaking, the conversation you have with such men that are intentional when it comes to friendships, being vulnerable, and mental health, there is a very big difference between them and the men who say, oyogera bichi, you have to be a man, be strong. At the end of the day, the guys that we call weak because they are vulnerable are the guys that are mentally healthy. No. I tell you, mommy's boys don't go to the extreme.
There's some that you'll find, and then when
let's not call them names right now.
So weakened.
You see?
What is the definition? What is the definition of weak, Robert?
Jerome, before he answers it, he's already saying weak, and that's the other problem men have. When a fellow man comes to you about something, it's very easy for another to say, you're weak. But what is weakness? Now I want to hear it.
Robert, what do you mean by a weak man?
You see, there are some men you find, for example, Sonko, she talked about calling a friend. There are men you find, he will let emotions by crying, you know.
Crying is a human feeling.
My friend, yes, even Jesus cried in the Bible.
Yes.
But, you know, then they are so taken by those small issues. Finding, brother, you're not yourself.
What is a
what
small issue?
What are small issues, Robert?
You know, where a man should stand as a man and
mean,
embrace them.
Because now we are looking at the major
Give us
problem,
the
and you're showing us
examples.
where the problem is coming from.
For example, Sonko, One time I had a friend who came to me and he was like, the wife slapped him. You know?
And these things are happening.
But I thought, we had talked about it, I just told him, you know, now what are you going to do? But I later discovered almost everybody he was meeting, he was telling them how he had been slapped by a wife. And I'm like, but man, those are things, you know. Then someone comes, today they locked me. I'm like, how? In your, you know, where is... I do
have some comments coming here. There is a gentleman who earlier said, I am... no, this one says, Mr. Chirabo, thank you for the analysis. You made a lot of sense. He didn't leave his name. I have Mr. Nkurununji Alexander from Kabale, currently in Kampala, Chirinya Boyogerere, Namua Education Center. He highlights the following. He says, socialization. Men often socialize more easily than women, as women fear to tell their fellows about their hardships, unlike men. Here you're lying. Emotional expression, as men may feel more comfortable to share their personal battles, shared interests. I don't know if it's ChatGPT that you've used here, but my mind is telling me
those are the women that do that.
Yes, these are women that normally do. But thank you for your. But thank you very much for your comment. We can't throw it under the water.
One thing when it goes of socialization, men are seen to be more as in socializing, because they're the ones you meet every evening at drinking spots, at work. But we're looking at the content.
Robert, now I have an interesting comment here, and I was expecting this comment, and I didn't think it would be coming in from a man anyway, because I thought men love accountability. This one says, Nzeo Mugaga Saorembo, Nabweru MP2B Nasa na municipality. He says, Obwavu buso se abachara basoso kwagala sente. Now, I don't know where women's love for money comes into the brotherhood paradox. Why do men have to blame women for this issue, for example, Robert?
I just find also hard to understand, because money and how deep the friendship you have with your friends, can they stand? Do you have resilient friends that in hard times they can see you through?
Robert, but there's also an argument.
Connecting money to it, I think it's just going back to the current said thing now, that women love money, women love
Robert,
money.
there's also an argument that that has led to the destruction of so many male friendships, and it is wide open out there from the level of socialization, that one of the reasons behind why men struggle with their friendships is because of money, or things that break male bonds: money, wealth or land, and women. That when it comes to a woman, at times men can even fight.
Let me tell you, even women can fight over man.
Yes, we've seen those cases.
And actually, they fight more than men do fight, because of late men are scarcing.
But men can kill because of.
I knew I was scratching somewhere.
No, let's first finish that scratch. I would like to demystify that. Women do not fight over men because men are scarce. Women fight fellow women over men because they would rather attack the weaker person. You cannot fight the man, so what do? You go.
But then why do they fight and then stay again?
And you're attacking the woman because she's weak. Okay?
But after fighting, I want them after fighting to leave the man.
Do you know how many? Do you know how? No, because she's fighting and saying, "Leave my man." Do you know how many women cannot hold their men accountable and say you can't do this, but they will go to the other woman and say, "Why are you with my man?" So it's because
I love the way Oliver's been a perfect lawyer and judge this morning by giving us reasons why.
Continue with your point.
Money, from the beginning of the world when it was introduced at that time, money has been the cause of many friendships, both male and female. And one person said, if you want to maintain a friendship, don't borrow, don't lend. Because what will happen out of this lending, someone will fail to pay, and you will end up sacrificing that relationship. Now, when it comes to the opposite sex, indeed, if someone encroaches on the other's territory, how would you expect? I find that disrespectful, first and foremost, and one will see that as evidence that you are not even my friend. For the ladies, it's very common. Best friends, usually one takes over, encroaches on the other one's territory. And of course, one would blame it to the man who will know your wife's best friend is a no-go territory. But what about the friend of the wife who also accepts your proposal in that way? So I feel it's a 50-50 blame to take there. Money, opposite sex issues, those automatically end anything. Now, land has also become another big factor because land does not expand, population increases. So it's something that anyone would desire. It's very expensive. Definitely, friendship will go astray when someone notices that maybe you're encroaching on my land, you're taking a few meters, so they will come up and come for you. That is why you will notice that most of the relationships, those are the three, like Sonko said. But, very important is how we were raised, how society has defined us. We are strong people. We handle our issues by ourselves. A woman will say, I need to talk to someone. A man may say, let me go to the bar. You find a David saying, kainde mubara, you know? Kainde mubara. So, yet, and Olive will say, let me look for someone to talk to about this issue.
Robert, I have two
Let
comments.
me go watch soccer. We have things that we run to.
I have two comments here. One says many men marry because they want authority and women want protection. Secondly, poverty makes men weak. I want one of our viewers to probably help us understand what the term weak means. And then expectations, Edrin says, if you have certain expectations about how often you should connect or how the friendship should evolve, unmet expectations can lead to disappointment and withdrawal, he mentions. But then in a report by the Daily Monitor, Robert, that another significant barrier to meaningful friendships is the fear of upsetting others. It is believed that many men, driven by a desire to maintain harmony and avoid conflict, keep their interactions on a superficial level. And remember, friendships, and one of the things I learned from female friendships, and the female friendships I've kept, is that there is always going to be a time where you're going to get misunderstandings. Now, how you come back after the misunderstanding normally keeps that friendship. And it also happens in other places, whether marriage or what. Every day, because humanity evolves, or there's going to be a misunderstanding one day or the other. But how you react to a misunderstanding either breaks the bond or keeps the bond. Now, Olive, here it shows that men fear getting into such conversations with fellow men. They would rather keep everything at bay. Whether a man comes out and says, I beat my wife, instead of someone confronting him and saying, what you did was not right, he would rather keep quiet and see him do the wrong thing.
And maintain the peace. It is because men, again, are egotistical in nature. And it's very easy for that fragile ego that men have to be rubbed the wrong way. So to maintain the peace, because a man has ego and understands that a fellow man has ego, they would rather not. Because at that moment, they think, would I want someone to confront me this way? And probably not. So because of that, they maintain the peace. And I like that you have used an example of things like domestic violence, gender-based violence, because in most cases when women are talking about these issues, they're saying men hold fellow men accountable.
Yes.
But we've had conversations here, Jerome, and you've seen our viewers chiming in and saying, because the girls dress like this, because the girls do this. No one is saying men...
What you're doing is wrong.
Exactly. And because of that, to maintain the peace, it's expected of men to not say many things that they would rather say. So the few that actually come out and defend women, or the few that come out and speak up, they are given names. Or you're weak, you're trying to be, you're trying to attract women and stuff like that. So it's wrong. But also it's important to note that the way we are made biologically, like I said, women are emotional beings, men are doers. So you'll find that men have shoulder-to-shoulder friendships, and women have face-to-face friendships. What do I mean? For us, what bonds us is what we can talk about. What bonds men is what they can do together. Men's friendships sometimes thrive through groups and what they do in the groups. You meet for soccer, you meet for whatever you're going to do, maybe politics or whatever, and yet for us, every meeting, there is a conversation. Every meeting.
So for the men, his issue is more of acquaintances then?
So
acquaintances.
So men, they would rather, you will spend 5 hours watching maybe a game or two, and you realize that after those 5 hours, you don't know that Joram Paul Sonko is probably having suicidal thoughts. There is an advert by one of, I think it was a Premier League game, a team.
That at times depression looks like happiness.
Exactly.
Someone is with you in a bar, in the stadium,
These
happy,
guys were in
more
the
happier
stadium.
than you are.
Thank you. And eventually this man committed suicide and no one around him knew. So it's important, maybe men don't have to talk like we talk, but it's important to have that person maybe you can talk to. But also men say that for them they elevate maybe their sister or their wife or another female friend to the point of confidant. That's why Mubena you're saying, but what does Sonko want from Olive?
And I'm seeing a comment here. Someone says, good morning, thanks for the show. Amos Amanya from Gaza says, I want to believe the problem hails from the lack of trust. I think with your comment also, it also points to that. Men find it hard to trust their colleagues for fear of being hurt. Hence the increasing introversion. A man who shares his problem is considered weak. So again, it goes back to why at times they find so much peace in sharing their their issues with their wives or their women, because they kind of feel the woman will keep the secret more than the men.
Yes.
And then the other comment here is, hey, good morning, good people, thanks for the show. It's Deno in Kampala. Men naturally want respect even among themselves, and they so find it shaming to talk about some inside issues. I think now it goes back to the egocentric nature of what is here. And then there's a comment here coming in. This one said, remember, no one likes to befriend more people for some progress targets. A richer man may not befriend a poorer man, but a poorer man wants a richer one for progress. So meaning men only want friendships, going back to what Oliver has just shared here. They only want friendships that benefit them, not friendships that kind of...
It's believed, Joram, in the women's circles lately, that men will only do things that benefit them. That men will always look out for themselves. Even when he's choosing a wife, and someone will say, but also women, but even when he's choosing a wife, at some point, let's say a man at his level, at a certain level, will choose a woman that fits into that life. Do you get what I'm saying? Like if he's broke, he will marry the woman that is available, that can fit into that brokenness. But in most cases, that may not be the woman he wants, his dream girl, for lack of a better word. And when he gets the cash or to another level where he feels he's now himself, then he will go for the woman he wanted. Yet a woman can find a broke man and say, tuja kuzimba fembi. You get. I know there is nuance to this, but there is also a point to this.
Good morning. Thanks for the beautiful topic. This one says, one of the things men seem not open in friendships is men generally are not emotional beings. Who says they are not? Chameleon son says, who says?
Men were taught to suppress their feelings, their emotions, but men are, I mean, when you lose your mother, one of the most poignant points in my life was one of my favorite uncles, very strong, very tall. I was very proud of him. And when my mom died, that was my first time to see a man cry like a woman. So, what do you mean?
And I love Sonko. Just get it there.
Like,
just get it there. You see,
for us, we cry, it's normal. I had never seen a man cry. And it still stands out for me to this day because this man was vulnerable. So when you say, like, men are not emotional. Yes, you're not emotional, but crying is a human feeling. When you were a child,
yes, you were crying.
Young, didn't you cry?
And Favor goes on to say, money too. There is a saying that without money, a man's voice can't be heard. and can say men tend to be ignored during their childhood about their emotions, which in turn makes them as shock absorbers, keeping things for themselves.
Yes.
But then there's also something I want to share here, Tim, because I've experienced this with some of my friends, and why I rarely open up to many of them, that many men at times use their many's weak points to share in groups.
As
that you've come as a joke, that you've shared with someone something very critical about you, but since he can't hold another conversation elsewhere, he uses what you told him as your personal struggles to share with other friends. They make jokes about it, or even with the women he will interact there to kind of feel like he's the bigger man in front of you.
Very
and
true,
it's something that most men are using today. I don't know how it has actually happened, but it happens so much with the millennials.
It's very true, Joram. It's very true, and actually it is wrong. Someone will say, "Oyo no Joram gola baba mukuba," and then they will laugh about it. But you don't know what actually the way you've shared it, the way you have listened it to a joke, is making the other guy feel. Now he's going to bottle up.
That also goes back to how men will select our friends. I said that earlier, that women are very intentional. Women are very intentional when selecting friends. But most of the
Not
times...
all women, by the way. There are
but
also
at
women
least
who are scheming in the way they
the
make
few I've
friends.
interacted with, you'll find that there is that friend and they have that bond, but you find that it's the missing piece of the puzzle, you know? And there is that, and she knows that when I tell some so-and-so this issue, she'll hold on to it. But the way many of them fall into friendship, like Olive said, either it is a healthy club, you know, they meet there and out of the blue, they cling, they have some relationship there. If they are sports lovers, maybe it is about football. You support which team I support, and then there's some friendship. If it is church, maybe church, sometimes the church friendship goes deeper. I don't know with the brothers in the Islamic sect, but we are not that digging deep now because we are not intentional. You speak to a person assuming they are really part of you and understand what you're going through, to have sympathy. Because even the ladies, and sometimes you see how men speak out their problems, you know. Sometimes and you're just, Hail Mary, why here? You know, couldn't you have someone that you're so close to and you can tell your problems? But you find that they don't have. Yet a woman will say, this has happened to me, I must call Olive now. I must call so and so now. For men, that's why you find that you let a cat out of the basket, or you speak, because people, you've not built that wall, that you've not invested in that relationship that much, that someone feels what you told them is serious enough to protect and not to use against you. That is one. But also the fact that there is a way that men don't take certain things serious compared to them. That's why I told you that Olive's friend can have a challenge, and for 3 days it's on Olive's mind. You even reach to ask her, Olive, what is the problem? Chichi, look at her, you know, so-and-so's child is sick. You get it? Hey, he's sick. Isn't she married? Doesn't she have a husband?
Very understandable.
How do you dare answer like that?
All right.
I'm telling, but for us,
I have a comment over here.
Sick if I can't give him money.
I have a comment here. In fact, they keep coming. This one says, good morning, lady and gentlemen. This is Ahimbisiwe Charles, a teacher at Mbuya Parent School. Thank you for watching. Reasons why men don't open up include, but not limited to, 1, fear to lose control over power. The community will see you as a person that can manage any struggles. Lack of safe space where you can express your emotions without negative consequences. Fear to be misunderstood and judged wrongly by the community. There is fear of being taken as weak, unmanly, and vulnerable, and other reasons you're talking about. My prayer is, let the government create safe spaces for men to express their emotions. Otherwise, they are still dying of depression. Do you know why men die earlier than women in most homes? Make it a topic of discussion, because this is also very important, he mentions. And we thank you for your submissions, sir. Then this one says, hello, good morning. Women are entrusted. Chiria Musa, I think you're off topic here. And but thank you again for your submission. Then we have someone here who says, She is right, because men are drawn to friendship. I think this one means Olive. Are drawn to friendship according to what they like and what they want either to achieve or are thinking. And once there is a change in thinking, it's automatically a change of friendship. But I think this happens to everyone. This is why bonds break up anyways. Oscar from Otuke, Northern Uganda. Thank you very much, Oscar. I think this happens everywhere. Whenever there is change in the goals of the friendship or any bond.
At some point.
At some point, that bond or whatever you're having with that person tends to end. And then this one says, I am a deployment manager and I have been solving issues with some of the workers. What kind of family you married in also matters a lot as a man. Well, I think again, men, we're fighting, we are running away from the bigger issue here, and again we are blaming.
Because we are talking about the brotherhood.
Yes, now how does
male
family
friendship.
Male friendship. So
family
let us first
out of
leave
it.
the family issues here. Let us first leave the blame games, because at the end of the day, someone here was putting the blame on women. Kiria Musa.
Well, we are used to that.
Again, I wonder,
I think that is one of the biggest problems why we even don't have, because we always have that blame game. Much as the women may sit down, analyze the issue, and maybe advise the other, but I think you're wrong here. Olive can tell a friend, you know what? If this guy, you say her, they'll analyze the problem, and she'll go and say, let me go and change. Now, for us men, the first thing that comes to our mind is casting blame. And even as the fellow men, we fear to tell our friends the reality and the truth because of the ego we have, and you feel, if I really tell this person, he may feel like I'm demeaning him, I'm undermining him, so you rather rub shit off.
Yeah.
And say, you know what? Let's go and watch soccer. Because, you know, but if you tell this person, hey brother, you're over drinking, I think this is the problem. This person now look at this one.
And I'll tell you, Jerome, I'll share an experience of someone I know that was in a group. Like I shared earlier, men normally their friendships are in groups, and I think that's not a bad thing at all. So this group of friends, they used to hang out together and have fun together, but one of their friends was drinking a bit too much compared to the rest. And at some point, they had to organize an intervention and say, you know what, you're over drinking. And then at some point, everyone in the group was marrying their girlfriend. So they reached a point and they're like, you know what, it's time you married that girl. And because of that, this guy, the drinking he had, because the friends held him accountable, he reached a point where he had to reduce his drinking to maybe the weekend instead of drinking all through the week. And of course, he went ahead and married the girl. Now they are happily married, 2 kids together, and the drinking significantly reduced. So what do you do in that group?
That one,
what do you talk about?
Because I know guys, the group and disappear.
Yeah, I know guys that are literally intentional in their groups where they have a day in the month where they meet and just be vulnerable.
Well, and I think it also stems back from either childhood or people they've studied with in school. So meaning on the side of the parent, yes, which is still childhood anyway. So meaning at least parents should at least be monitoring the kind of friends these you know, your children are making, especially the boys, and
also
how often do they check up on one another?
Also the conversations you have with your children. Like my son and I, we extensively talk about the meaningfulness of friendship.
All right.
The role of friendship. And
I'll be taking that as Olive's parting shot. Robert, in a minute, what is your parting shot in regards to this conversation?
It's very important to be intentional when making friends as a man. Rather have very few than having so many. But you know, they are true friends. You can open up to them. You can also be open by telling them their weaknesses and look beyond just socialization and being a member of a certain group, but what is in there for your financial, for your spiritual, and for your emotional strength.
All right. And I'll end the conversation with a comment coming in from Obed from Kakoba in Mbarara. Thanks for the show, he says, and a very good morning. Good morning to you as well. You've talked about so many things, but my mind tells me that the responsibility is the major factor that influences the emotional intelligence for men and women. Since the responsibilities for men all need money, they will focus more on how to fulfill them than focusing on another man's personal problems. Women will have more time to speak on their personal problems simply because their responsibilities are in most cases less of cash. He says, and the woman on the team says, no, you are lying about that.
That is right.
But we fully thank you for being part of this conversation. And also, my final submission will definitely be, we need to hold ourselves accountable as men, and then also let's learn to keep secrets. As a man, it's you know, I will just use this term. As a man, it is important, because we've always heard of these stories that women at times will go with a secret to the grave. And back in the time, our grandfathers also used to keep their secrets. You only get to know that you have step siblings, or let's say a stepmother, during his burial time. But today's men, it's quite unfortunate that the majority of men I've interacted with do not have a zip on their lips. But as a man, you really need to keep the secrets with you, because it also helps you a lot to build the trust with your friends, and along the way, building meaningful bonds. And my producer has told me to mention something here about the Uganda under-17 Women's World Cup qualifiers. The women team beat Namibia 10-0 yesterday at the Ham Stadium.
Was that netball?
No, it was football. It wasn't netball. But we shall be giving you more of those updates in the sports in the hour that is coming up. But also, our artist of the day, Sparrow, is in the house, and we shall be having the entertainment. Olive Monica Najima will return with the bit of the movie recommendations. And of course, it is high time you look out for the next hour of the show. Our newsroom comes to an end now. Good morning. Stick around. Good Morning Uganda Friday edition does continue.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Welcome to Good Morning Uganda, your go-to morning show to kickstart your day with all the latest updates.
Let's dive deep into issues that matter most to you.
In a world of stories waiting to be told, the headlines are your guide. Navigate the currents of news and knowledge with our daily updates of newspapers. Stay informed, stay empowered.
From the roar of the crowd to the thunder of victory, witness the drama unfold with our sports updates. Whether on the field or in the stands, join us as we celebrate the spirit of champions.
Rise with Good Morning Uganda, weekdays from 6:30 a.m. of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by.
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, the first time to hear about this name was during the times of the Pirates of the Caribbean, and the artist we have this morning goes by the name Sparrow. So those of you who remember Captain Jack Sparrow, we do not have Captain Jack Sparrow, but we do have Sparrow in studio. The hair will pretty much tell you that he's a little bit related to the captain, but not that much. Here we are for the bit of the entertainment, and we'll come back from that break and the conversation we had earlier on in regards to the brotherhood paradox and why men struggle to keep meaningful friendships. So we have the artist, the main performer for the day, here in studio with us. A very good morning. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Okay, speaking of Sparrow, where does the name Sparrow come from? I wonder, because I mentioned Captain Jack Sparrow. I don't know if you loved him or you watched that movie, but what inspired your name? Is it your real name?
No, it's not my real name, but I got this name in primary.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched the movie and I liked the name.
Okay.
And
Sparrow.
I used to act like him.
So you used to act in the MDD, back in school.
Yeah.
So I get now I get the entire history of where the name comes from. Which type of music do you do? Because in a bit of the introductions from the time we started the show, we have an artist, a performer. Which type of music are you doing?
I'm so versatile. I do every kind of music, from reggae, R&B, hip hop, even this bubblegum music. I can write, yeah.
Okay.
Even I'm a writer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did the journey start?
I think around 2020.
COVID.
Yeah, COVID from March India. But right now I'm in Nansa Nakatoke.
Yeah. Wakuba muziki paka kuulira bubi. Okay, and what was your first song that you performed and you recorded, and what was the reception like after you performed it? Did your friends love it? Did the fans, increase? What was it like?
The fact even is like I went in the studio to write for my friend, but as I was writing, the guy was not perfect, so I went and I did it. And that's where the journey started.
All right. Yeah. My dear viewer, I do have Sparrow in studio here on the Good Morning Uganda Friday edition. He has songs that he's going to perform for you. But first, a set of the songs that he has is some incredible music that he has released. Like he has said, he doesn't only specialize in one genre. He does all types of genres. Zuku, I think he also does some amapiano. He has R&B. He has Chidandali. So let's get into the songs that he has for us now. But then, after that, he will be coming back and he will be ushering us into the weekend. But for now, he has some bit of the performance, and top of the songs he has includes one called Maria. So, dear viewer, allow me introduce once again Sparrow.
Yeah.
She's all over my gazing, baby, ooh, the money on my, girl on my, you love me, your body so fat, no more if you're calling me. Taliban, don't party, don't go home. Oh, me, baby, Anna. She got a really bamba. Big bang booty girl. Do ratty girl, do it, do Namufunyo ebioto Kentu senzenkwe wade Zenkwe kute Zenkwe bete Kentu senzenkwe wade Zenkwe kute Jompe bete Wayo ye chibumba tesa wamu Eyange kamukwase Kuwa Maria, Maria, my lover Maria, Maria, my lover Where my lady Oh my lover, we go so. Ay 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 ay. One for the big boss, take it down low and come back late and ask for more. One for the big boss, take it down low and come back late and ask for more. Oh no, walai, asanana wadi muwadi na wadi buanga walai. Top. Ding dong dong, she run my ring like a ding dong dong. Tip top, ding dong dong. Ooh, she run my ring like ding dong dong. Ooh, ding dong dong. Oh no, ya kola ministro. She really has a nice body. Waku nyamato abamu wetu geli. Ooh, beautiful girl from Katwe. Wala kaka tambula na maje. Ono taku waliyanga. Simsa ono taku wabanga. Maria nze namuwaka namba mojo ndo namuwe kinamba akwete galimba nabuli akwete njagala omutegeeze kati njagala nkukulireyo Rolex. She's always in my fantasy kati bweninanga emergency 911 emergency. Big bang booty girl one to the top top and said you go be my lover, call you my sofa. I call you my ringal, my Angelina. Your song I sing for my baby. I told you this is our Venox. Just for the big boss. Lego. Nduse. Ndifena katubale. Nduse. Ndina balema batambule. Mukwano. Mbebigalo mukwano mujigondaba. Wekundetero tagala. Nekumulimu bambize no bangolye. Nzobukulabako ntagala. Simanyi kiraba nawe. Mbebye bindetero tagala. Simanyi kimanyi nawe. Mutali sefuna simanyo chimanyi nawe simanyi Buwa Guno mukwano gugo Take it Digana mapenzi gago Take it Guno mukwano gugo Take it Digana mapenzi gago Take it Muyono wange wadala Endunula mama yadala Lava yebiso mama yadala Ubambe chadala Baby girl unti wadala Enzina endunula nti yadala Lava yengeli jamya sali yadala Kukambye neiba wadala Na 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 Yeah Take it Digana mapenzi gago Take it Kuno mukwano gugo Take it Digana mapenzi gago Take it Zono wange wadala Entunula mama yadala Lava yebiso mama yadala Gambye chadala Baby girl uti wadala Enzina nentunula ti yadala Lava yosipalo wabibe byadala Kugambe byadala Tupisi yadala Tino yadala
I'm for straight up. Telephone everywhere. The big possible every day.
Girl, can I call you my princess? Come and cover me with kisses. Gabuye chikusumbuo chimpe. Bambi bimpe. Girl, can I call you my princess? Come and cover me with kisses. Gabuye chikusumbuo chimpe. Bambi bimpe. Let's go to the beat now. Let's go to the bar now. Let's go. Brand new tune, surrender, cannot present. Omelelo chira kasunda, omelelo chile michunga, omelelo chile michunga. Kuwa, nzebujira kulaba. Ngotudawo kukawalaza amise ndikubelanda Girl, can I call you my princess? Come and cover me with kisses. Ngabuye chikusumbuo chimpe Bambi limpe. Girl, can I call you my princess? Come and cover me with kisses. Ngabuye chikusumbuo chimpe Bambi limpe. Dance na sweet like banana. Dance na sweet like banana. Onja yanya sweet like banana. Na. I'm making you a princess. Can I be your papito? You're digging in the jungle. Do not do the movie auto. I say te amo. Guagala yo ma. Te amo. Guagala yo ma. Te amo. You shake your bum to the floor. Back it up, come back to the floor. New me renge yo kankaya. Te amo. Cuba. Eno la veno. Chitengecha. Jagano mwano no. I stay forever. Eno la veno. Chitengecha. Jagano mwano no. I stay forever. Cuba, ulira. Bwe chikuba mfuna mwensalika. Ono mwana alabika mu America. Engeri jabikola mu alabika mu America. Sheriwa. I'm just a caterpillar, do the dirty dance side. My God, you go shout hallelujah. Caterpillar, do the dirty dance side. Hallelujah, Hosanna. Gabi hata than the summer. You're my hero, Guagala Rihanna. Come tonight, let's have a dinner. She go bend in my room. Tonight! She go bend in my room. tonight we gon' make some love. Tonight, me and I we go out and fun. Ain't no love, ain't no. Chitengecha, yagalo mwana no. I stay forever, ain't no love, ain't no. Chitengecha, yagalo mwana no. I stay forever. We never see Ngawoli, Ngawoli, Ngawoli. Ngeta nyongete. Ngabizi konsiga, wefude jango nkuta. Kuba, katino kona, zininamu kumudigido. Egwe kabisi nzekama. Wanji, katakanyamaze msitoko. Wanyumiza kubisi bubyo. Wabula twesana, lavalavu wesa sana. Katino kona, kina yamuke kabadiko. Kuba, wigo. I live forever. Medical. Let me see that. Give me your nice love. Slow. Show me your nice body. You got it, you know me. Be more. You just sit and me go. He just Tulile your baddest. Bam bam. Move your bam bam. Move your bam bam. Move your bam bam. Tell them they call me big boss. Girl shake your bam bam. Me love the way you dance. Don't go with muchi don't go. They call me big boss. Girl shake your bam bam. Love the way you dance. Don't go much don't go. Jigo wine and break it. Abasiga de tuzine baila dostede. Kuba. Jigo wine and break it. Abasiga de tukuwe baila dostede. Wanji tukuwa fe pate. Abatachi manyi mutu ite fe mpate. Ono mu danso kaliba. Engeli jazinanga gazi ya mazina. Wild be dancehall teacher. Engeli jozina go nyumisa mazina. Wild be dancehall teacher, engeli jozina ngo gaziya mazina. Zinina Macarena, Zinina Macarena, Zinina Macarena, Zinina Macarena. They call me big boss, girl shake your bam bam. Me love the way you dance, don't go with muchi don't go. They call me big boss, girl shake your bam bam. Me love the way you dance. Listen. Yagala balagena yadalo muziki gwenkuwa gunonti kwadala. Ebimi bigoma yadalo mukala gwenine waka wadala. Nyumiranga tuli mumpero muziki gwenkubile waka mumpero kuwa. Simba yaya, Simba yaya. Wanji buracho mkalya. Kumba yaya, buracho mkalya. Na yenze buracho mkalya. Kuba Yajiterera. Do what I say, baby girl. Do what I say. Don't do, baby. What I do, don't do, baby. What I do. Do what I say, baby girl. Do what I say. Don't do, baby. What I do, don't do, baby. What I do. Kusaba tunyuma mama. Kugamba kwata, baby nti kwata nyo. Akasimu kwata. Yangu weno mukwano nkubanjalo. Leka nkuwo musala. Uzimbira kameleze nkuwenga kochalo. Tonight yo my baby. Kutwale watu gende wako wakudeti. Do what I say, baby girl. Do what I say. Don't do, baby. What I do, don't do, baby. What I do. Do what I say, baby girl. Do what I say. Don't do, baby. What I do, don't do, baby. What I do. The way you press your body like computer, you make me lose control like a controller. Chino, she's in a way chenyola. She got a big bumper, toy in a chong number. Girl, wine and sit down on it. The way she whine and sit down pan it. Hey, on the girl turn wine to the right. On a visa, on a cobesa. One, muolololo, muolololo, muyelelele, mugambe, mukatijira jiroje, mufetu bibye, omupira gugwaje, timukaga kwa nganga. We mumulabira, we mumulabira, we mumulabira, mugambe ngenda kufa. We mumulabira, we mumulabira, we mumulabira, mugambe ngenda kufa. Uba. Do what I say, my baby girl. Do what I say, don't do, baby. Do what I do, don't do, baby. Do what I do, what I say, baby girl. Do what I say. I can't, no time to ask. Drop it like it's hot. Girl, whine your body, girl. Whine it close to me. Whine your body, girl. Whine it close to me. Whine your body, girl. Whine it close to me. Whine your body, girl. Whine it close to me. Me gotta hold ya. Me gotta squeeze ya. Me gotta squeeze ya.
Lights up the
One sugar then yes.
Bring up the money.
Bring up the clothes. Aha. Sitaweza. Popote unapenda ago, nazidi kupenda nalo. Nitakuimbia na flow, penzi la kunifanya penzi le baro. Na vete napenda ago, nazidi kupenda nalo. Nitakuimbia na flow, penzi la kunifanya penzi le baro. Whine your body, girl. Whine it close to me. Whine your body, girl. Whine it close to me. Whine your body, girl. Whine it close to me. Whine your body, girl. Whine it close to me. Me gotta hold ya. Me gotta squeeze ya. Me gotta squeeze ya. Me love the way you touch your body, one. Nikiriza me touch your body, kirira, yambuka, kirira, when you get kirira, yambuka, kirira.
Has been with us this morning and giving us the entertainment that we deserve as we head into what looks like a great weekend. This is Good Morning Uganda Friday edition. Wherever you're watching us from, thank you very much for being part of it. And Sparrow, that was an electric performance, I should say, and you've got some good music added onto your catalog. But as we heading into the weekend and as you're saying goodbye to our dear viewer, what inspires the type of music you do and you write?
What inspires me, mostly dancehall from Jamaica by Adidja Palmer.
Okay.
Vibes Cartel. Yeah, Sam from Uganda, the late Mose Radio, and Paulo Cafe.
As we're leaving the set, you'll just give us a cappella of one of your favorite Vibes Cartel song. And but besides that, bookings for people who want to see you perform for them on, let's say, parties and any nature of the party, how can they locate you? How can they find your music and the like?
Yeah, but now I don't have a manager and I'm looking for a manager. I want a manager because music is hard without a manager.
Okay.
Yeah, you can call on my number if you want for bookings 0705 04 55 44. Yeah, even on my social media platforms, Sparrow Big Boss everywhere, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Yeah, and big up to everyone.
We do have a manager here called Fiona who has got interest in your music, so I think she will take you on. But besides that, let's just end this with a cappella from Vibes Cartel. You said you get your inspiration from him. And to your idea viewer, after the break, we shall be having Olive Monica Najuma returning to give you the bit of the movie reviews or movie recommendations that you can look out for. We have some interesting movie trailers, so you can at least go and download some of those from your favorite streaming platforms or look out for them in the cinemas close to your neighborhood and have a wonderful weekend filled up with a bit of the entertainment. But for now, just a minute of Sparrow giving us some Vibes Cartel. Good morning.
Capella, Oh, your excess, the highway from an exit.
And if they got a message right now, brand new boyfriend right now, boy, I like your excess sound. You know, as if explain. You know, as if. Come on, baby, let's go party.
Kubye. All right, after the break, we do return with Oli Monica Najima. Good Morning Uganda continues immediately.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by.
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, you are watching Good Morning Uganda Friday special edition, and I'm Olive Monica Najuma. Now listen, last year at the close we had amazing movies. If you missed them, especially during the festive season, well, your movie Big Sister, and we are going to be getting into it. And the first movie is An American Classified, which is an American action thriller film written by Bob De Rosa, directed by Ruel Rain, and it is starring Aaron Eckhart. You know him from Olympus Has Fallen and London Has Fallen. Now, the plot of the movie, the storyline revolves around a veteran CIA agent and his daughter, who herself is an MI6 analyst. His daughter tracks him down and tells him his boss has been dead for years. They set out to find out who has actually been giving him instructions. Let's have a look at the trailer.
My way means you do what I say.
The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself.
This is it. No way out this time.
I know who you are. You got your instructions from a local newspaper. Same as you always do. But the division you work for, you never worked for the CIA.
So what's this lead we're following?
We're gonna do this. We do it my way, which means you do what I say when I say it.
Why are you in Malta? Your assignment's in Rome.
I want to know who I'm working for.
Finish the mission, or you'll become the mission. Do you understand?
Or maybe I'll come find you instead.
The girl is not who you think she is.
I want answers. Who are you? Who sent you?
In this business, we keep friends close, right?
I'm getting a really bad feeling about all this.
This is your last chance.
Everything was a lie.
Classified, starring Aaron Eckhart and Tim Roth and Abigail Breslin. Now, the production of the movie was shot in April 2023 in Malta, and in May of the same year, it was announced that filming had wrapped. However, in interesting twists, Breslin has alleged that Eckhart was aggressive to work with on the set, which led her to filing a complaint against him to the SAG-AFTRA, and the filmmakers filing a lawsuit against her. But then the movie was released on video on demand by Sony Pictures Home Entertainment on October 2022, and that was in 2024. Now, the next movie is one of my favorites from last year, The 688, which is an American war drama film written and directed by Tyler Perry on the 688th Central Postal Directory Battalion, an all-black and female battalion in World War II. Now, the film features an ensemble cast which includes Kerry Washington, among others that I'll share later, but the plot goes, a West Virginian mother waits daily for news from her two sons serving overseas. Meanwhile, childhood friends Lena and Abram face the difficulty of their budding romance, that is, Lena is black and Abram is Jewish, in the 1940s Philadelphia as he prepares to deploy. Abram dies shortly after being commissioned as an officer pilot, so the heartbroken Lena vows to enlist upon graduation. On the train to basic training in Georgia, Lena meets other enlistees who will become her friends. They are trained by Captain Charity Adams and Lieutenant Noel Campbell. Despite being well trained, the battalion is not given orders. Let's have a look at the trailer.
Well, is there another?
problems. You and the 6th AAA Battalion are headed to Europe.
Should you open it? The Postal Battalion? They think the only thing we good for is deliver some damn mail.
Would you like to see all the hangars, ma'am?
How many are there?
All of them.
Oh my God. Ladies, we have been ordered to provide hope. The soldiers have not heard from their loved ones, and their loved ones have not heard from them. When there is no mail, there is low morale. 6th AAA Battalion! Forward march! They did not send us because they thought we could do it. We are here because they are sure we cannot. We are no strangers to making a shack a home. We are at war, and when you are at war, you make do. Unlike some other folks here, we have the most to prove. Now is where you show the proof. This is our mission.
Listen, that lady, Kerry Washington, she got a star on the New York Walk of Fame last year, and I'm saying she deserved all of it. But the 6th AAA, it has made Tyler Perry stand in line with the A-list directors and writers, because I've not seen one person that has watched it and said it was a bad movie. With an ensemble cast of that nature, you must watch it. Now, it is starring Kerry Washington as Major Charity Adams, Ebony Obsinian as Lena Darricourt Bell King, she's also in Sisters, Dean Norris as General Holt, Sam Waterstone as Franklin Roosevelt, Oprah Winfrey as Mary McLeod Bethune, and many others. You should check it out. I'm sure you'll have a good time. Now, the production of the movie started in 2022, and in January 2023, the cast, including Kerry Washington, Sam Waterstone, Susan Sandron, and Oprah Winfrey, announced with Washington also as joining as an executive producer, and the movie came out last year in December. Now, the next recommendation is Gladiator 2, which is a sequel to Gladiator 1, which came out in 2000, another amazing movie. Now, if you've not watched Gladiator 1, I would recommend that you go back and watch Russell Crowe doing his thing, but then come back and watch Gladiator 2, which is a 2024 historical epic film directed and produced by Ridley Scott that serves as a sequel to Gladiator 2000. And it is written by David Scapa based on a story he wrote with Peter Craig. The film was produced by Scott Free Production and distributed by Paramount Pictures. Now, this one follows the plot of 16 years after Marcus Aurelius' death. Rome is ruled by the corrupt twin emperors Geta and Caracalla. In the North African kingdom of Numidia, the refugee Hanno lives with his wife Arishat. The Hanno and the Roman army led by General Ocasius invades and conquers the kingdom, killing Arishat and enslaving Hanno and the other survivors. The slaves are taken to Ostia, where the Romans pit them against baboons to advertise them as potential gladiators. Hanno savagely kills a baboon, impressing the stable master Macrinus, who promises Hanno an opportunity to kill Acacius if he wins enough fights in Rome. Let's take a look.
I remember that day. I never forgot it. That a slave could take revenge against an emperor.
Where were you born?
I don't know. I never knew a mother nor a father.
You will be my instrument.
Who are you?
Did you hear that crowd? The greatest temple Rome ever built. The Colosseum. Because this is what they believe in. Power.
General Acacius. There are victories yet still to come.
Rome has so many subjects. She must feed them.
They can eat war.
The arena turns slaves into gladiators, the gladiators into free men.
You have something in you. I knew it from the start.
Did you now?
Rage. That rage is your gift.
This is about survival! Survive! Hold together, and when it charges, break for the wall.
Whose head could I give you that would satisfy this fury?
The entire Roman armies.
Too much.
The general will do.
Rome must fall. I need to only give it a push.
We make it out alive. Alright, alright.
Tears on the mausoleum floor. Blood stains the Colosseum doors.
This ring belonged to Maximus. Now I give it to you. What is the dream of Rome? That people are not free.
I was owned. Now I will control an empire.
I will not waste another generation of young men for their vanity.
Listen, if you're into medieval, anything medieval plots, this is a movie for you. And of course, it stars Paul Mescal as Lucius Verus Aurelius or Hanno, and then Pedro Pascal as General Acacius, Connie Nielsen as Lucilla, who is Lucius's mother. Maximus's former lover Maximus was in Gladiator 1, and Aurelius's daughter, and she's reprising her position or her cast position from Gladiator 1. And of course, the man himself, Denzel Washington as Macrinus, who is loosely inspired by the historical figure Marcus Aurelius Macrinus. You should watch this movie, which was released on November 15th, 2024, and later that was in the United Kingdom, and later in the United States and Canada, still on November 22nd by Paramount Pictures. Now, all these movies, the stars are amazing, and I can assure you the movie plots are also intriguing and engaging. So take a look at them this weekend and have a good watch. My name is Olive, and Good Morning Uganda continues.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.